Well, this is it, the final day of San Diego Comic-Con. The last day before the circus pulls out of town. We've seen a lot over the last couple of days and last 2 episodes. A whole lot, as a matter of fact, but we got one more chance to see what we can get up to. Well, I'll tell you one thing already. This day, Sunday, the last day of the convention, looks a lot less crowded than it has looked for the last couple of days. Not that it's none crowded, just less. At least that's what I've been told anyways. I've also been told that today is the day to try to get the bargains, you know, last day of the show, try to get the exclusive merchandise here for a little bit of a cheaper price and stuff like that. Oh yeah, for sure, less crowded, because I can just physically see more of these booths that were invisible to me for the past couple of days, just because they were blocked out by human heads. I've always loved this. I've also seen a lot more pockets where people are able to stop and take pictures with each other and with the cosplayers. I'm hoping that means we're gonna find some more treasures today. Like, look at this. Look at the vintage poster booth right here. I could not physically see this before. There were just too many people in the aisles. They got vintage posters, vintage magazines. That's what I love, is the vintage stuff, which has been surprisingly hard to find over the last couple of days. Some of it, like this over here, is tall enough that I could have seen it over people's heads, but you spend so much time looking down, watching your feed, trying to get out of people's way, that you don't notice things. This is cool, man. Look at all of the crazy plush right here. Dude, this is awesome. I was attracted by all the crazy vintage plus hung up all over this tower, not to mention Creature from the Black Lagoon up here. And I'm glad I was, because look at all of the vintage toys. Vintage is surprisingly hard to find at San Diego Comic-Con. It's more about revealing new products everywhere. Oh my gosh, is that a McDonaldland puppet right there? Old school My Pet Monster. Oh, speaking of monsters, look at the Remco 9-inch monsters right there. Mighty Max, I used to have a ton of those. I wish I had them now. Oh, and right below them, look at the little vintage plush Jungle Book characters. What do we have over here? Ooh, the perfect present for my friend Tuna Tyler. Dude, 1 zillion vintage Mego figures, couple of vintage Star Trek figures. This is the stuff I like. I actually never thought I'd be calling some of this stuff vintage, but I guess it happens to the best of us. We all eventually become antiques. Oh, dude, this is the sweet spot, man. This is what I've been looking for all week. Yeah, look at that Pee Wee Herman stuff, vintage Ghostbusters. Dude, it's such a tightly packed little booth. There's so much epic stuff in here. Everything from like McDonaldland action figures to old school Western figures, Star Wars, Sesame Street. Dude, my favorite toy of all time, the Toy Biz Batmobile. A little bit of everything. Dude, even giant Pee-wee. Dude, and Terry and Cherry. Dude, this is basically the first booth I've really looked in today, and I'm already pumped now. I love that bell right here. Led me right to the vintage Disneyland map. I think that's from 1962. Got the old vintage Disneyland TV tray table. Seen this booth a few times over the last couple days, but what I couldn't do because it was so crowded is pull out the little drawers and take a look. Look at this vintage Star Wars. I got some vintage Disney stuff hiding out in there. I see an A-Team member. He's on the team. Ah, dude, you even got some vintage punk rock stuff up here. Dude, I'm glad that it was a little less crowded today because I scored big. I can't show you this whole thing here, but what this is a 1989 Batman applause display. They put the pencils and the cups, so all that kind of early merchandise. It's like a little fold-out Gotham City display, like a countertop display. I've never had one of those. That is something I have literally been hoping to come across for years. So weird, because when we were here on Friday, you know, it was pretty decent crowd-wise. Saturday was packed ear to ear. You could not move at all. Today, Sunday, I would best describe as patchy, right? You get these open spaces, and then you turn a corner and just hit a human wall. Oh, I always love seeing the zombie gnomes. I have a couple of these guys. My gardeners keep breaking them, though. I don't know why they keep breaking them. They keep hitting them with the weed whackers. They don't like dead gnomes. It's like the best thing you can have in your yard, especially if you have any other gnomes. Just have a couple of these little zombie gnomes down there. Throw people off the scent, you know, entertain the mailman. All right, there's quite a line lined up against the side of the Pokemon booth. But I noticed this in the back corner, you've got Pop Mart, which we haven't even got close to, because this back corner is so packed. Well, it's the last day. We might as well head over this direction. Oh, I see. They've got a vending machine with some Labubus in it, a whole bunch of Labubus behind that glass. Let me tell you what, this has been the year of the Labubu. Petco Park, the giant baseball stadium down the street, literally got turned into a Labubu pop-up shop. I just heard the other day the company that owns this made over $1 billion in sales. That's when you're like, why can't I invent something as cool as Labubu? Just skirting around the side of the convention over here. Just trying to see some stuff I haven't seen before. After a couple of days, you think that you've seen it all, right? But the thing is, you get so overstimulated, so fatigued by the crowds and everything, you just can't help but miss a lot of the stuff on the show floor. Like, I didn't see any of these. I didn't see any of these, like, anime figures or anything this entire time, and I probably walked over to this corner, you know, 3 or 4 times a day for the last 2 days. Oh, by the way, before you even ask, the first thing we did this morning was run out of the convention center behind us, out by the water, and look for the King of the Hill experience out there, because I'm a massive fan of King of the Hill. But the line was still insane, more than 2 hours, and today it's a much shorter show. And even though I'm a massive fan, I wanted that free Megalo Mart hat and whatever other swag they had out there, I could live without it, I guess. I did at least see a little bit of King of the Hill cosplay. Saw Dale and Luann out there, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen anyone doing King of the Hill cosplay before. I don't know why I haven't done Dale Gribble every year. I mean, come on. I like hats, I like t-shirts, I like sunglasses. Maybe I can be a cosplayer after all. It's so packed out here. Sometimes you just gotta back up onto a pillar and hold on so you don't get swept away with the tides out here. I love that Godzilla poster right there. That is cool. Believe, and then look right above it. Look at that Spirited Away poster. Ooh, I gotta show that to Allie. Oh, I thought it looked familiar. It's Tino Evil. Uh-oh, got your Disney Pins booth that you see at every convention. And look over here, this looks good. ToyMatrix.com booth. They got my attention with that Canon Film shirt over there. In fact, they've got a wealth of t-shirts out here. But the thing that made me want to stay is all of the action figures. They've even got Castle Grayskull on the corner. Gosh, dude, there's still so much that I didn't see earlier this week. And not this week. By the way, sorry, I'm chewing gum. Just by nature of the event, there's a lot of close talking. Dude, there's still some sections of this show that I'm just apparently fated to never see, as they've just stayed consistently packed the whole time. Oh, look at this. I see a vintage Nintendo Entertainment System. I see Robotech. And oh my gosh, there is something I have not seen for about 1 billion years. Starcom. I always want to get my hands on these figures. Specifically, this guy right here. I had one of these way back in the day. I don't know, about 80 bucks. But it's nice to see it again. Freaking Starcom. Does anybody even know what Starcom is anymore? Hey, maybe that'll come back. A lot of vintage stuff has been coming back. After all, I just saw some brand new mask stuff in the convention. All right, we're still roaming around a little bit. Some comic books over here. Some amazing, like, metal sculpture art over here. I'm just trying to cover as many of the side aisles that I haven't seen as I possibly can. Oh, dude, there's way more vintage toys hiding back here in these little side aisles than I thought there were. Still not enough, though. This thought never occurred to me, but where is the biggest vintage toy show on Earth, or toy swap meet, or toy convention? Like, only vintage toys, no Funko Pops, nothing modern. Like, does that exist anywhere? Like, this is the stuff right here that I'm interested in. You know, this is the stuff that I'm most likely to snag and actually take home with me. Is all of this. Look at that giant Baloo right there. Yes. Giant Baloo. Dude, there's also a giant Doug up there, some Voltron stuff. Look at the Boglin. Batman the Animated Series, 12-inch Boba Fett. Dude, I've never seen giant Doug before. He wanted 80 bucks. Not quite sure it's worth 80 bucks to me right now. But see, stuff like that. The stuff that feels like you're recapturing a piece of a lost era or something. That's why I particularly love vintage stuff, but I'm also a fan of anything strange, unusual, rare, one of a kind, anything nostalgic. I guess I'm just a fan of everything. Well, look at that. It's like the opposite of me. Cool jerk. I prefer to be a nice loser, which was my nickname in high school. See, look at this, on a totally different tangent. Not vintage at all, but just unique, just unusual. Look at this. P-Bert's Big Adventure, covered in crud. You're not gonna find that for sale in the Walmart, you know. I love stuff like that too, just unusual things. Dude, I don't know if a massive panel just ended or what, but I'm telling you, this convention center just got twice as thick with people. There's something that I don't like about San Diego Comic-Con, and I love people, like on a 1-to-1, 2Zs, 3Zs basis. Once there's literally so many people that you can't take a full step, that's when I start to break down a little bit. Hey, look at this lady's dressed up as Hall H. Yeah, if you're claustrophobic or have problems with crowds at all, I do not recommend San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, there's so much to see here, but down on the main show floor, when it gets packed, you can almost never, like, take a step back so you can see it, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not a person who is unfamiliar with crowds, right? I was in a band, been to lots of shows. I'm in and around theme parks and conventions all the time, and I've been having to take very frequent breaks here in San Diego and come outside and at least metaphorically touch grass and breathe the free air. Oh, the freak out in there. I thought today was supposed to be the light day. But it turns out there's some big panels. You had George Lucas at 11 this morning. You have George Takei coming up. People are lined up around the block here for that. George Lucas, I understand. I mean, it's his first Comic-Con ever. George Takei, a little more of a surprise, you know? He's still relevant. He's still got it. All right, I chilled out by the water for a little bit, smelling the street dogs. Dude, they smell so good. There's even a line for them. Allie and I grabbed a Mountain Dew to share, so I've refortified myself with some caffeine. I think I'm good. So many like little fan clubs and cosplay clubs up here in the weird hallways. Always makes me wonder what other amazing things I'm missing that are tucked away somewhere. Allie's getting some grandma-style pizza. Looks like it's very popular with the Jedi. Dude, look at this. Out these windows, you can get a bird's eye view of the convention floor. You see what I'm talking about clusters? Like there's some really packed spots and then some really open spots. Weird day. Still a lot of people down there. And in all that, I'm looking for one. I've got one friend we have to meet up with. While Allie's waiting for her pizza though, waiting in line over there. Look at this. Got all these meeting rooms with like tabletop gaming or card games going on. There's literally an entire little secret room where people are just playing Pokemon. Even an Artemis spaceship bridge simulator. What in the world? See, I knew it. I knew there were secret rooms here. All right, Allie got her pizza. Now back down into the mayhem. Uh-oh. Looks like Allie's bitten off more than she could chew. Look at the size of that thing. That thing is bigger than your head. All right, back into the mayhem. Back into the madness. Yeah, dude, look at all these like small publishers and small comics publishers. At first glance, when you first get here, you're like, oh, where's all the comics at the Comic-Con? Then you start looking around and you'll find them. Ooh, the Grand Admiral is on the floor. The Grand Admiral is on the floor. So much great cosplay out here today. And I was worried that Sunday would be dead for cosplay. Man, there's so much good stuff everywhere. Collectibles, books, comics. And you know, some of this stuff has got to be so good. It takes so much talent to make it. But it's like, how do you have time to read them all? How do you become an expert at comics? There's so many. Oh, look at that. They put animated Gollum up over here on the bar. That is way better because earlier in the show, he was down here on the floor. He was hard to spot. That is my Gollum right there. That little fella traumatized me for years. Does anybody know who did his voice in those cartoon versions? Because the voice was the scariest part. Allie, if we get lost, let's just agree to meet back at the horse. Dude, the Lego booth is popping. And I know exactly why. It's because that giant Lego San Diego Convention Center with all the Lego booths in the back. Incredible. We saw that the first day and I was blown away. And then look at this Castle Grayskull right over here on the main aisle right across the way. We've got all the Star Wars stuff. Dude, Mattel is killing it out here. Not only do they have this giant Castle Grayskull, but the first day my mind was also blown by seeing the Back to the Future photo op back here. Now I want to own that so badly. They were selling these at the convention. You know, Doc's truck with a little DeLorean that can fit inside, but I believe they sold out. I hope it wasn't a convention exclusive because I really want one of those. Yeah, I always wonder, like, what happens to this stuff once the conventions are over, that it goes to in a given year or whatever? Like, what do they do with these giant props? Who gets to keep them? How do I get on that waiting list? Speaking of things we saw on the first day, there's a Godzilla photo op down in here. Somebody wears the Godzilla costume and you can take a sick pic with them. There's a line around the block for that. Godzilla hasn't even appeared yet. I was kind of hoping I'd get a chance. I always thought the guy in the Godzilla suit had the best job in cinema, you know, wearing that outfit and then smashing little miniature tanks and stuff. I want to smash miniature tanks. We're trying to reach our friend, but she's all the way across the convention, so I just sent Allie on ahead. Allie is small and nimble. She can get through the crowds quicker. Get out of the way, Hulu. I gotta make it to the 5,000 banner. Dude, it's the hardest thing in the world just to walk down like a couple of blocks worth of convention center. At some point it gets funny at least though. Oh, there she is. It's Blake Northcott, our friend who is a writer and an authoress and writes for comic books. I don't know what else you do. You do all kinds of stuff.
Yes, writer.
Working on film and TV projects.
Doing some stuff.
We had to come say hi. Normally I hang out with Blake in Florida, even though you're from Canada, and that's where I see you is Disney World, and we hang out a little bit, and then you're gone back to the Great White North. Now you're doing a signing?
Yes.
What do you have new? What's new?
So I actually just launched a new initiative with Paradigm Agency, and it's a book to film where first one come out, it's called Bulletproof Angel, and I'm working with CJ Perry, who's better known as Lana on WWE. So I'll be working with them, and then they're going to hopefully turn into a movie.
Dude, there's so many rumors about you and writing movies.
Yeah.
You're a mover and a shaker, Blake. You're moving and you're shaking.
I'm trying my best.
Dude, I was hoping to grab some King of the Hill swag from in here, but it actually sold out. That's how huge King of the Hill is. It's coming back, baby. Coming back on Hulu, I think, right? Look at this. I just saw this. I must have walked by this 500 times. The first time I'm noticing it. Look at this giant piece of notebook paper. Things that are awesome. Bigfoot, Van Halen, piranhas, sea monkeys. Things that are not awesome. California raisins, mullets, murder. Okay, I agree with that one. Racism, chores, wedgies, bullying, acne, stale popcorn. What else is on the awesome list? The Goonies, yeah. Laser tag, staying up past midnight. I like that. KFC's on the awesome list. Van Halen without David Lee Roth is on the not awesome list. Literally right across from crack and math. Well, I agree with the math. Poor Sammy Hagar, dude. He gets no respect. Dude, you know what's on my awesome list? Crazy cosplayers. These cosplayers out here are on fleek. Do the kids say that anymore? Do the kids still say on fleek? Hey, check this out. It's Sam Jones. It's Cinema's Flash Gordon. We actually just had dinner with Sam last night. He's super cool, super nice guy. Super nice. Oh, look at this. Here's something phenomenal. Look at this over at the Shag store. It's Shag himself. I always see Shag's booths. Very rarely do I see Shag at his booth. I see him everywhere else. He doesn't live that far away from us. But seeing him literally in his own environment, that is rare for me. Rare. Dude, oh my gosh. I must have walked past this 100 times also. Look at these Attack of the Killer Tomatoes toys right here. And I don't know if these are for sale, but those are amazing. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I saw this part of the booth. Hey, how's it going, man? I saw this part of the booth the other day. Atomic Toy Box. I saw those Mars Attack sneakers. Sick, dude. I just love stuff that glows in the dark or fluoresces and stuff. I just love stuff like this. Wait, what the heck is lace faces? Oh, these are for your shoes. Freaking Chuck E. Cheese right there. There they are, the Mars Attacks sneakers. And you put the lace faces right on them.
I live vicariously through you because I've never been to Disney.
Oh, that's amazing. So these are like Mad Balls, are like squishy. Yep. What are they called?
Sneakerheads.
Sneakerheads. Yeah. I freaking love
so
these.
We did a whole Steamboat Willie line.
That is so cool.
Oswald line coming soon.
Oh, that's awesome. God, I love all this stuff. Dude, sick hats right there. We are living in the future now. Back to the Future 2 came true. Okay, so the sneakers are Bolairs. Tom's the one who's running the show as far as the sneakers go. These are freaking awesome, dude. I'm not a big sneakerhead, but I'm impressed by these, especially the thing Crocs over here, like the sandals. What do you call them? Slippers, I guess?
Yeah, Yancey
slides.
Yancey street shoppers.
I like that, dude. Those are awesome.
The big reveal is the Atom Bomb.
The Atom Bomb. Oh, look at that! Freaking garbage pail sneakers. Okay, Tom just told me next door, the Nikon booth that we saw, they're doing portraits in here, like glamour shots. See the little neon in there for the lights? They'll send you your portrait right to your phone. I'm gonna go try it out. Look at this, dude. Everybody's here to get some new profile pics. Taking pictures right in here. We'll see what happens. All right, dude, look at this. New profile pic. Who this? Turned out pretty good. Look at that. Free pic from Nikon. I like when I cross my arms like that. They almost look like there's a muscle in them. Sweet. All right, there's just under 2 hours left of San Diego Comic-Con, at least the floor show part of the deal, which is, of course, my favorite part. I know this is horrible to say, but when it comes to the panels, I feel like I could just watch them online and I'll see the zoomed-in footage that probably looks better than what I'd see with the naked eye. I prefer to spend more of my time out on convention floors, mostly because that's where all the cosplay is, that's where all the creative stuff is, like the booths and the artwork, the giant Tamagotchi, you know, stuff like that. Like, look at this, Ariel getting her photo with Chucky. I mean, come on. Plus, this is where all the sweet merch is, right? I mean, like, look at this. Another sick Mega Man alert. Mega Man! Dude, the level of sick merch is off the chain. The fact that we've been looking at sick merch for 3 days and I'm still seeing stuff I never noticed, even at booths I've already been to, just tells you how much stuff is really here. Well, we were wandering around aimlessly towards the other wall of the convention center, but I had to do an abrupt U-turn because I remembered that I'm a moron. Not a hard thing to figure out, but, you know, I am a moron, so that I forget that I'm a moron, then I remember from time to time, because yesterday I saw Stan Sakai over there, the creator of Usagi Yojimbo. Bought a couple of comics for him to sign, but he was just ending his signing and kind of leaving. So I bought the little signing tickets anyways, and I was supposed to come back yesterday and never did. So I have the little signing tickets I didn't even bring the comic books back with me. Maybe if he's still there, I can get him to sign my arm 3 times or something like that. Okay, dude, look at this. I heart guts, plushy organs. There are all kinds of plushy human body parts over there. You got teeth, you got hearts. I don't want to know what else they have. Oh, I saw some genitalia, and not the genitalia I was expecting either. You know, there's a word I don't think I've ever said on Random Land before. Generally, I have no occasion to use that word. All right, well, I can't have enough Usagi, so Allie is buying a couple more comic books. Luckily, Stan is still here, so he's going to be doing a little signing for us in a couple of seconds. Whew, that was a close one. I mean, I was happy because I finally got to meet him yesterday, talk to him a little bit, shake his hand, all that kind of stuff. The cool part about getting something signed, like, it's not about having the signed thing so much to me. I'm not really an autograph collector, as it is having like a souvenir of that memory, if that makes any kind of sense. You're not really paying for the signature, you're paying for that experience, you know, that memory, like immortalized. Oh, that is so cool. I didn't think you were gonna draw him in there. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure. Dude, how freaking sick is that? I wish I could get him to sign my whole collection, but I would have had to bring a freaking dolly here to get all those books. Most of my generation found out about Usagi because he's had like some sort of collabs with the Ninja Turtles. So like NECA's put out like Ninja Turtle versions of the figure and stuff. But he is his own independent character with his own independent comic books, and I highly recommend them. I highly recommend them, especially if you love old samurai stuff, old samurai movies. It's perfect. Oh my gosh, speaking of the Ninja Turtles, look at this like holographic frame. Look at this, it's amazing, right? It's the 35th anniversary of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie right there. Look at this Ghost in the Shell artwork. Who does this? This is all really good. Well, I don't know who the artist is, but there's the booth right there, Coda. All right. We got Stan Sakai, got those signatures, dropped them off at our friends' booth. Hey, look, it's the baguette people. I was mentioning them yesterday. I see numerous people just dressed up as Frenchmen. Why? It must be a reference to something that I haven't watched, right? It can't just be people cosplaying as French people, can it? Anyway, we acquired our Sakais, like I said, dropped them off at our friend's booth, and now we are cruising through the lobby because it is much faster than trying to recross the show floor back to where we were. I know the adventure's a little disjointed today, you'll have to forgive me. That is because we are very overstimulated. 3 non-stop days of this madness, and it doesn't end when the video ends. It goes all night. It's in the hotel lobbies, you're running into people you know, you're running into costume characters. It's wild. Here's what I would say if you've ever thought about coming to San Diego Comic-Con. If you can't handle crowds, I wouldn't come to the convention. But if you can be just in San Diego during it, you can see all the chaos and action outside, all the cosplayers, all the different pop-ups and stuff. There's a lot to do without subjecting yourself to the crazy, crowded, packed show floor and the shuffling. That's my one main thing. If you get claustrophobic in crazy crowds. Hey, we looked at the Garner Holt Productions booth yesterday, but I didn't know that Garner's Education Foundation also had a booth over here. Dude, they do so much great work with kids, teaching them how to build like animatronics and giant props and doing all kinds of programming, designing. And look at this across the way. I got given a free bookmark, free swag for everyone. Ooh, the best part about convention emptying out a little bit here towards the end. I can finally get up close and personal with these displays at the Hasbro booth. They were so hard to see. You know what I mean? Traffic is so crazy behind you. You have to get right up close to stuff. One, I didn't bring my reading glasses, right? So I need to stand back. And two, when you have whole shelves, you gotta stand back so you can just see down there. Then you're blocking traffic, you're getting run over. And if you squat down too long, somebody will step on you or bump into you with a bag. That's the only thing that personally makes Comic-Con tough for me. If you're cool with that, if you have a lot of crowd patience, you'll be fine. I'm usually fine, like in theme parks and most other conventions, but for whatever reason, it's like next level here. Dang it, these rebel troopers are in the way. I gotta get on the inside of the booth. Still packed out, dude. They're making really good stuff now. Oh, here we go. Finally a peep at the inside of the Star Wars windows over here. And I don't collect Marvel Legends, but if I did, dude, it would be all these old school 90s X-Men. Look at the huge Sentinels. What a scene, dude. What a diorama. I also love that they brought back the old school Toy Biz style packaging, even for the 6-inch figures or 7-inch figures, whatever they are. I still haven't watched the new cartoon, like the X-Men 97 cartoon, but I love the action figures. They are doing it for me. Look at Logan right there. That is so sweet. And look at these. Look at the masks they've got now. That is so crazy. There was nothing like that when I was a kid. You just had those plastic masks with the elastic, you know, you snap yourself in the back of the head. You are a genius. You're a walking billboard for yourself. I love that.
I couldn't get a table, so my wife said, "Why don't you wear it?"
You are you're cosplaying as your
am the
table.
table.
Genius. Now, dude, I'm not a huge G.I. Joe collector. I had a lot of the 3 3/4 inch Joes when I was a kid. You know, I'd pick them up at Toys R Us or get them for Christmas. I loved them. I've never collected them because they've always been pretty pricey, but just like everything else, they're bringing G.I. Joe back in a big way on a bigger scale. But it's a deep rabbit hole, you know, at least with the Ghostbusters. There's really only the 4 figures you need, the 4 main guys. G.I. Joe is like a whole pantheon of insanity. Anyway, I feel complete now, you know. I saw most of the stuff in the Hasbro booth. Finally! Oh my gosh, look at that. A Predator! I was hoping I would see a Predator at the con. Dude, amazing. Just don't kill me, please, sir. I'm not good hunting. I'm very easy to kill. It would be no good reflection on you. Oh my gosh, and there's Jareth. There is the Goblin King. That is so cool. Look at this. That is amazing, Jareth. And you have the little crystal. I love it. Don't trap me in there, please. I really don't like masquerades. It's not my thing. Dude, it's always a good day when you stop the Goblin King and he recognizes you. Well, as long as you don't have any babies that you're watching. This is so weird seeing costumed Star Wars characters taking pictures of Star Wars characters. It's like some kind of weird Star Wars cosplay inception. Oh, look at this. This is the big boss. The big boss of the booth, wearing a suit. Must have looked good for the Empire. I don't think I'm quite ugly enough yet. I've been working on it. But one day when I'm just 10 or 20% more grizzled, I think I'll start cosplaying as Emperor Palpatine, you know? If you're gonna cosplay all the way to the top. Well, we're still making our wander back and forth, but I think we are reaching the end. Not only because there's only 1 hour left of Comic-Con, but because mentally, I don't know how much more insanity I can absorb. Oh, that's the best thing I've seen all day. After all, what would the world be like without Captain Hook? I love that. And Mr. Smee. Oh my gosh, is that Dave Letterman? It's Dave Letterman. To be honest with you, I almost considered not filming at all today just because we were so tired. Our brains are even more exhausted than our feet. And trust me, these dogs are barking. But then I thought to myself, what are you, crazy? It's San Diego Comic-Con. Even the most random, short, light POV trip through the show floor is a show in itself. And look at this. Even after 3 days, I keep seeing things I have not run into before. I kept seeing this red glowing box. I didn't know there was a freaking light cycle in there with music by 9 Inch Nails. Oh, look at these guys are ready. They're ready for action. That is crazy. They're ready to hop on that thing and cruise through the streets of San Diego. We saw a whole cosplay group cruising through town. Ooh, and actually the streets are probably going to be pretty crazy when the show finally ends in just a couple of minutes. So I'm going to walk around with Allie, let her do a little bit of shopping. We've been looking at lots of stuff, but not buying too much. For her anyway, I was the one that's been going crazy. Con-exclusive NECAs and the glowing Ghostbusters and whatever. So give her a chance, do a little shopping, go gather up our swag from our buddy's booth, and then meet you outside. Oh, there comes Battle Cat with the mask on now. That is sick. A whole posse of magic wheelchair people. Okay, Allie selected a couple of spooky pins. That's really all she wanted. Just cruising back down to grab our stuff now, and we're finally done with the show floor. All right, well, that's it. We've tapped out for the last time. The convention just closed. Any second now, everyone is gonna have to come spilling out those doors. We're all gonna be racing towards the same freeway. It's going to be chaos. It felt a little unceremonious, a little anticlimactic almost, and all the chaos, all the mayhem just suddenly ended. Sometimes that's just the way things go. I feel like most of the people had already kind of left the convention center. So the gas lamp over here is going to be nuts. We got to make our way back up into downtown, back up to the hotel, grab the car, grab the luggage, head out of here. It may be over, but it ain't over. Dude, what a jumble, man. What a jumble. It was unexpected getting invited to come down to Comic-Con at all. Like I said, I haven't been here for 6 years. It was last minute. It wasn't cheap. But now that it's over, I can finally say with confidence, and we had a pretty good time. There were 5 or 6 little panic attacks there just from the sheer crowdedness. But other than that, it was a breeze and a blast. It was impossible to see it all at San Diego Comic-Con, but you know what? All things considered, we saw a whole heck of a lot. Now we gotta go home and sleep well, really well, because in 48 hours we're gonna be back on the road again. The adventure never ceases here in Random Land. Speaking of adventures, if you enjoyed this one or any of our others here, if these videos make you smile or entertain you or distract you, if you're getting any value out of these adventures, please consider sharing them with your friends, liking, subscribing. All those things are free and very helpful. And if you really want to help, if you want to go the distance, please consider joining our Patreon or check out our merch store. We got the hats, we got books. They sell out quick, but from time to time we have pins. Or you can follow us on our other social media accounts. All of it is easily found at randomland.com or down in the description below. And with that, after 3 days of nonsense, craziness, merch, cosplayers, sore feet, and doing our duty, it's time to go home and sleep well. Oh, you got him. Get him, hit him again. 'Tis but a flesh wound.